Welcome to Law Officer Live. My name is Travis Yates, the editor-in-chief of lawofficer.com. You're familiar with our good friend, Dr. Mark Sherwood, former police sergeant, SWAT team person, recruiter, you name it. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
We are going to talk today, Mark, about, are you ready for this? Recruiting. Do you want to talk about recruiting? Now, I have to get my pump on so I can look good next to Mark. You like that?
I want to talk about the size of your biceps. What I want to
talk about. Stop it. Stop
That's
it.
Awesome.
So throughout the show, I'm going to have to pick up the dumbbell to keep my pump going, and then I get my angle on so we look even, right?
I love it. Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about police recruiting is probably, Mark, I'm just going to be honest with you, probably in the worst shape we've been in our history. You know, when I was a kid, man, I grew up on positive police TV shows. We watched the show Cops. You know, some people are thinking, what's that? Well, back in the day, that was a very popular show on the brand new Fox network, believe it or not. Yeah. And I would watch that on a Saturday night, and it was obviously always positive with law enforcement. We saw shows like the real life stories of the Highway Patrol, Top Cops, all these, everything coming across the media was a positive picture, so to speak, of law enforcement. So as a kid in the 80s, it was easy to want to serve the community, to go into law enforcement. That was a very honorable thing. And those honorable things are still happening, but we see something vastly different today in law enforcement in regards to recruiting, don't we?
We do. It's very difficult now because things have changed. I remember when I was still working at the police department and doing the recruiting and heading that up, we always sought a certain type of person. And back when you and I applied, there were 200 or 300 people that would show up at a testing day, and that dwindled down over the course of time for a lot of reasons. Obviously because of degree requirements at our department. But I think the thing that I would really want people to understand is that, you know, we know there are issues today. We know there are perceptions today. Instead of broadcasting the problem, which it is, we need to become part of the solution. So I encourage anyone that wants to be a difference, to be an answer, to become an answer. And what we need, really, whether it be in law enforcement or any other sort of leadership or authoritative positions, is we need men and women of integrity. We need men and women that are going to take the stance to make a difference, all shapes, all sizes, colors, and to be able to relate to people from the aspect of true protection and true service. And that's the kind of people we look for, the people that have it right here in the heart. Not, I mean, we'll joke around, but not in the biceps. That's not where it's at. It's in the heart. And
it doesn't hurt, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I get it.
Now, listen, are you taller than me tonight? Is your chair taller than me? Because I'm looking up to you. This probably comes across as bad.
No, I hope you always look up to me in a good way, right?
You know what? I know the chair is lower.
Yeah.
I can't be shorter than you, but we'll just go with the chair. When you talk about finding those men and women with character and integrity, how difficult is that today in today's climate?
I think, you know, I'm still a believer, Travis. There's people out there that have exactly what law enforcement needs. Quite frankly, I think that they need confidence to step up. They need confidence to step up and become that answer to the problem instead of seeing a problem and talking about it. And you know, if a person's out there right now that has any inclination to go serve, there's no greater service really when we're talking about public service or even military service. That's the greatest service there is because it's a true service of sacrifice. And I would encourage everyone to take a good look inside and say, you know, okay, if there's an issue there, I know it's an issue. I'm going to go make a difference in that and create a culture of influence like that. I think that's smart.
Obviously, activists and the media and everything is it's very loud right now. Obviously, there's a loud voice, kind of I wouldn't say anti-law enforcement, but a demand for change, a demand for reform. Now, a lot of times I don't know what that means, or it's not very specific, but we don't see a whole lot of those individuals demanding that change signing up and coming to the police departments. In fact, after the Dallas incident, we had Chief David Brown that said, hey, listen, we're hiring. We have openings. Come join us. Come help us. Come serve. Today, on the front page of lawofficer.com, we just ran a story. Everybody knows what's going on with the Tulsa Police Department this week, where a Tulsa police officer put a Facebook post out there that's gone viral that said, I'm here to protect you. And by the way, I'm part of a solution. Why don't you be part of a solution? We are hiring right now. Come to us. And it's an African-American officer. So there's this call to come join us. Yes, you can work for change on the outside. I think law enforcement welcomes that. But you can achieve so much change on the inside, and you're a testament to that.
Yeah, I think what you said is very deep. I mean, you talk about change has to occur from the inside. It has to occur in the heart of man, the inside of man. And we look at this from a global standpoint. And you and I talked before we came on the air tonight really about this whole issue. The heart of man is what's broken. And we, all of us know that. And we can Monday morning quarterback anything, whether it be a football game, a law enforcement incident, or a decision in business. But instead of Monday morning quarterback, let's get in the game. Let's get in the game and change the thing from the inside. And it starts with this heart change. We have to know that we can make a difference, and we can do this. I remember, even transitioning from law enforcement officer, sergeant, to naturopathic doctor. I mean, that took a change,
I'm
man.
fixing my chair because this is bothering me.
I know it's bothering me. That took a massive change, Travis, and it took. He's feeling bigger now, right? That took everything, because people thought I was nuts to step away. How can you step away from this, that, and the other? But I had a dream to make a change, and I wanted to make a difference. I saw that medical systems were broken, and I wanted to fix it. I wanted to fix it. So I wanted to become part of the solution. So I would appeal to people that are even sitting back right now and forming judgment. Everybody has that opportunity and freedom. That's the beauty of our country. But really, if you want to make a difference, go make the difference. Yeah. Don't just talk about the difference. Make the difference. Make it happen. And I think that's a powerful message that I wish the media or anybody else would get a hold of. I know media's got to sell stories. I get it. Respect that. That's freedom of press. But wow, we change is necessary in everything. We've got to evolve. We've got to grow. We've got to develop our character. Let's be that change.
Well, it doesn't take much of a man to get online and write some nasty things. You've actually had nasty things written to you about coming on our show, believe it or not. Right. Obviously, I cannot begin to say some of the nasty things that's been written about myself or lawofficer.com and the folks that I work for. But it takes a big man or a big gal to go sign up to run the agility test, to take the entry-level exam, to go into a profession that's a high calling. That takes courage, does it not?
A lot of courage, a lot of guts, a lot of swallowing pride. Yeah. Going instead of self-service, it's going to public service or a self-sacrifice. It takes a lot, and whatever you're going to do, whether it be going into law enforcement, fire department, military, any sort of physician work, business work, go in there with the heart to make the change and become the difference in your own little area of influence. And, I can't overemphasize that enough. We need this. It's got to happen. And I would hope everybody kind of takes a step back and fresh breath, a perspective, and let's do this thing right.
Yeah, there seems to be so much hatred, so much just pure kind of evil coming from people's heart. I know that most of our guests that have come on here, including you, have been threatened. And I'll just say to our audience, you can keep threatening us all you want. We're here to make a change. And we know when you step up to make a change, to be a voice for that change, that's sometimes an ugly thing, because people don't like that change. People don't like voices that maybe differ from their own opinions. But this is America. Yeah. And we're going to continue to try to bring that change, because I think one thing we have in common is we all want law enforcement to improve and to get better. And there's not a reason why we all can't set the table and do that as adults. Yeah. There just seems to be a lack of that.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this incident, not just in Tulsa, but the country in general, and I make no bones about it. I'm not perfect. I don't have it all figured out. I have to deal with internal prejudices in my life. I mean, who's fooling who, man? I
Right.
mean, we all got to own this thing. I think that, I depend on my Heavenly Father to help me every single day. And, I ask for anybody's prayers that want to pray for me in that, and I pray for other people to do the same thing. That my heart will be loving towards man. And the greatest change agent that I know of was Jesus, and he lived on this earth 33 years and went in public ministry for 3 years. He changed the whole face of the planet for eternity in 3 years. And I think that that's the greatest sacrifice we can have. I mean, there is an example of giving your life for a cause in love.
Right.
And no matter what happens, no matter where we stand, we must voice our opinions in love. And that's the only way to solve the problem. Hatred will never solve the problem.
Yeah.
Vengeance, revenge, violence will never solve the problem. It's all about love. And people need to really understand that the heart of man needs to be changed with love. Mm-hmm. With love.
I couldn't say it any better, Mark. And when you talk about recruiting, of course, maybe they didn't know until tonight, but you were the supervisor of recruiting before you retired. You were heavily involved in police recruiting. And, of course, we used to recruit differently a couple of decades ago than we do now. Have you seen departments successfully transitioning from the kind of old school, we're going to college job fairs? Is that how you call it, job fairs?
Quote.
Yeah. Into the online world now, where most of these new hires are really looking at departments and including websites and things like that. Have you seen a good transition from that way of thinking to now?
Yeah, it's interesting. We used to keep statistics, and I know you have the access to this still, about asking the applicant what their first contact was. And the job fairs was down there in the less than 5% range of all of those thousands. The majority was word of mouth, and right behind that was social media. Social media being Instagram, LinkedIn, even a simple text message campaign, something that small, websites. That's how people communicate today, and you have to meet people where they are.
Well, isn't it amazing, though, that that's how people communicate, but we still are kind of sometimes stuck in our old way of doing things.
We are, and it's, departments, and I would encourage anyone, from what I learned, and this is based on experience and also data collected, to really, put your resources, because resources may be scarce. I'm talking about financial resources or even manpower. Put them in efforts that are going to be productive and are going to have an opportunity to provide a return on your investment, instead of things just traditionally done. I mean, if we keep doing things as we've always done that, and we're not getting results, we know what that's a definition of, and we don't need any more insanity. We've got enough of that right now.
And I cannot stress the importance of recruiting the right men and women for your agency. Once you hire these men and women in, they are the face of your city, they're the face of your community, the face of your state. And if you make a mistake on hiring them, there could be horrible consequences.
Yeah, and I think this is a mistake people make. When you're setting up any sort of recruiting strategy, first of all, you want to sit down with your management, with your line and rank and staff, and define what kind of person you're looking for. And it needs to go from everything from, just the way they appear, the way they walk in the room, their communication skills, their education. Physicality is a part of it, of course. Heart, work history, dedication, all that matters. If you don't define what you're looking for, that's a mistake. And when you do define what you're looking for, every single test parameter ought to go back to locating that person. If it doesn't fit the funnel, it needs to be out of the funnel.
And standards must remain high. I know there's a huge push for departments to reflect the ethnicity or minority makeup of a community. I'll tell you right now, from my personal viewpoint, I believe police departments should mirror their community. I'll just throw a number out. If your community is 20% African American, 20% Hispanic, your department should mirror that. And that sometimes becomes a challenge for departments. And would you give them any advice? Because I think you would agree with me. You were in recruiting. I knew that was always your goal, because that's just good business practice. You want your department to mirror your community. But that can be a challenge in recruiting, especially if it's more difficult to get certain groups than others.
It is, and the police officers have to get involved in the community. It's critical to have a great community department relationship, and if that's not there, you may mirror the community, but you're not mirroring the community because you don't know the community. You do the very best you can to mirror the community along racial lines, sexual lines, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is you try your best. But
Yeah.
there's not a community out here that would argue that they want the best people with the best hearts, no matter what their race or gender is.
Yeah.
But you do the best you can to mirror the community because you want to relate to the community so that you can meet the needs. There's trust both ways.
There's been a disturbing trend around the country that we want white officers to patrol and police white people. We want black officers to police black people. We want Hispanic officers to. And let me tell you something. I'll just tell you right now, that's racist. That is insulting. And that is a dangerous, dangerous proposition that we're seeing around the country. I don't know who is starting that, who is behind that. But if we ever start to live in a society that segregates our races and our people, and we're not just one people, one group, one police department, that's a very dangerous time, is it not?
It is, and even recently we're seeing a massive trend about sitting down at the national anthem and all this stuff. And I know people can have a stance on things and an opinion, but we've got to keep one nation under God. If we ever try to divide our nation, and not to be preachy, but this is the truth, that's a spirit of divisiveness that does not come from God. We must never try to divide races. We are one people. Right. I don't care what color anybody's skin is or sex is. I love them, period, end of story. I don't care what they're, even if they hate me, I still love them, period, because we've got to have this idea of a superior being. In our case, I believe it's God that has ultimate dominion and power and the ability to bring us together as a people. And I think we're missing, and I think our intentions are good from both sides, but I think we're missing it because the attention is on individual people instead of on a God that can love us to the point of submission with love.
Right.
And I think that's where we need to be. Our country is on the edge of and the brink of literally a civil war in a sense, and I don't want to see that because I know that is absolutely divisiveness at its core. We have the greatest country in the world. I mean, I'll use the example of the bombing suspect in New York City. People were lobbying that guy should be killed, and he wasn't. He's alive. He was arrested, and he's going to stand trial, and there's going to be a fair trial. Now, in that situation, there's hatred going there. But in our country, which is the greatest country in the world, there's going to be the protocol of justice carried out.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we should stand for, that everyone is innocent until proven guilty, whether it be law enforcement or the public. We've all got to take that stance.
Yeah. The minute we lose that, we lose it all.
We do. That's everything. We cannot look at man and immediately form judgments. And I've done that before. I know we've all have, and I've apologized to people, and I'll continue to apologize because I don't have it figured. I'm not perfect, and nobody is. But I think that's the first step in realizing that we need that love, is realizing our imperfection.
I don't know what this mouse is doing here. I'm sure it's bothering everybody. I'm just going to move it right there. I'm sure you were thinking about that.
Yeah.
We talk about recruiting. You talk, Mark, about the online way, kind of the transition from the old school to online. I think we both agree most departments have not done a very good transition. We recognize here at Law Officer that we've got to do better. We've got to recruit the best and the brightest. We've got to recruit a community that reflects that community. And really the only way to do that is to get your message in front of the masses.
Yeah, you have to. And you've done a masterful job at Law Officer, giving people the opportunity to put that message out from each end of the department, because each department has its own culture in a sense. It's like a family, and you've got to find out what family you're involved in. It's like applying for any job. You've got to find the right fit. And I'm grateful that there's an opportunity now to look for the right fits, and there's always plenty of opportunities for people to serve. And many times people don't know about all the opportunities until they start looking, and there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, we haven't announced this. It's been on our website for a few weeks now, but we wanted to wait till the night till Mark was in to talk about it. But we're launching what we call the Law Officer Network. It's a partnership program where agencies, anywhere from free to $299, can have different levels of recruiting, and we'll help you with that. And what we'll do to do that is we'll send you the millions of people that come to our website every month to see your department in the best light. And so we're going to show you those options. You can get to that from the front page of our website, lawofficer.com. At the very top, you'll see a link that says jobs. Under jobs, you can either see our posted jobs. We don't have many posted because we haven't advertised it, but we're about to advertise it. It's about to get busy. But also, you're going to see a link that says post a job. And what you see there is you see 3 tiers, Mark. You see for free, post your police department on our job network, where you can list where you're hiring, your website, all your requirements, and it's right there free of charge. We offer that to you. We're not going to charge you a thing for that. Many of our competitors do charge for that. And we have a second tier where we will take your job list and we'll highlight that. We'll highlight that throughout our website. We'll highlight that in our weekly newsletter. And that's $199 a month, cheaper than anyone else out there doing it. It's much more expensive in many places, but we're not here. I mean, we have to pay the bills, Mark. We're not here to get rich. I mean, we want to provide a service to law enforcement. We want everyone to be able to participate in this. So whether you have no money, we have an option for you, or whether you have a little bit of money, we have an option for you. But then, really, the big thing that no one is doing, the thing that we're really just jumping out there, is our partner site. For $299 a month, we will literally build you your own recruiting website. And we may be able to get an example for you up on the screen to see we've done it, because we've already got a client that we're working with. But at the very bottom of that page, you'll see the link to an example of that. Springfield, Missouri Police Department, very proactive, progressive department that's just jumped on that right off the bat. For $299 a month, they can, we will build that site. 24-hour customer service, full-fledged recruiting website, a custom domain. On that, you get to put your job application. You can put your videos that you want, anything you want. And if you don't, we will train you on how to do that. It's fully in your control. And the most important thing is you're on our network. Now, when you post a local story, let's say you're in, middle of nowhere, Minnesota, who's really going to their website? Probably some local people. But how do you get your website to the masses to recruit the masses? Well, I think using our audience is the way to do it. So we're going to enable you by connecting that website into our website and through our network, throughout all of the ways we do it, through social media. We literally have, well over 1 million people throughout our social media platforms that are seeing what we're doing each and every day. And, man, we're really excited about that. It's not being done. People, and personally, $3,600 a year, you're not going to get a website built for that. In fact, I know for a fact somebody that's calling us is asking us about this. They got a quote for a website for recruiting market was $50,000.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this is from the knowledge that I have about recruiting fairs.
Yeah.
Where you may end up going to a place and passing and talking to 10, 15 people and giving away a lot of pens or plastic cups.
Right.
People just taking stuff. Those recruiting fairs cost about $500 each to go to.
Right.
And they only last about 2 hours.
Right.
So, for under $300, which is less than an average recruiting fair, you're not in front of 10, you're in front of 1 million people a month. And to me, that when you shared that with me, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, departments are going to be criticized. If you haven't been criticized about your recruiting efforts yet, you will be. Yeah. And how cool would it be to say, yeah, we're not only recruiting in the traditional sense, but we are partnering up with lawofficer.com that has millions of people visiting them, and we're exposing our department to that audience.
Yeah.
And I think it's brilliant. In fact, I'm going to give everybody a little secret that's watching this, and maybe if you watch this delay, you're not going to be able to take part in this. But there's a $199 setup fee. Costs money to build websites, and so it's $199 one-time setup fee to build that site, and then it's $299 a month. So it's roughly $500 to get in first month, then it's $300 a month. We're going to waive that for you if you're watching this right now. If you want to contact us through email and say I'm in, we're going to waive that fee for you. My business guy is probably going crazy right now, Mark. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And because I didn't even ask my employer if we could do that, but we need to do that because I'm looking at it right now. And you know what? They didn't put the setup fee on there. Yeah. So if you're watching and you want in on this, you got to email us, because as soon as we get the setup fee up there, we're going to waive that. So I would assume the next day or two, if you're watching this and you want to join in, let's do it. Now, if you want to pay a year in advance, we'll waive that fee. We'll waive that fee, but if you want to go month to month, we've got to have that fee in there for obvious reasons. But listen, we're excited about this. You're going to hear about this a lot more. No one is doing this. In fact, we tried to find someone building websites and things like that for people. And by the way, I'll give you a hint, Mark. Apps are coming. Now, that's a little bit of an extra fee, but apps are coming.
Yep.
And listen, You can't build an app for your department for under thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm going to give you a hint. We're going to do it for next to nothing for you if you sign up for our partner site.
That's a big deal.
Listen, this is a big deal. We've been around for well over a decade. I can't think of anything neater. I mean, Below 100 was pretty neat when we launched that. That has saved, I believe, countless lives. This will, I think, protect departments, Mark, from when they get accused of not recruiting properly, not doing enough. We had a department contact us a few weeks ago, and they have well over 150, 160 people in the department. I'm not going to name the department, but they have one African American officer. And the chief was saying, they're really giving me a hard time. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah. You have one African American officer in 150. And he says, well, Travis, it's just really, really hard. And I say, I don't care. Tell me your efforts. What efforts have you made to recruit more? And he couldn't really answer it, Mark. And I told him, quite frankly, I said, son, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because you have made a mistake here. Okay, I understand that there's some departments in the country that have difficulty in that. Well, you better be able to say all the things you have done to try to get that done. Right? And this, I can't think of a better way. And obviously, we've tried to keep this cheap. People have accused us of, you're not charging enough. Because obviously, website development, 24-hour customer service, you don't get that anywhere for the price we're offering. But we're not here to get rich. We are here to offer a service, and I think we're doing this at a very fair and competitive price. And we want you to jump in. This is going to be a very short, limited time when you do it without a setup fee. Get you in. You can be right behind Springfield. And, man, I want nothing more than departments across the nation participating. Because, by the way, when you're in the middle of nowhere, by the way, now Springfield, Missouri, who's going to read about Springfield, Missouri Police Department unless you live in Springfield? Now when they post a local story, they have an option to let us run the story nationally for them. So we'll push their local story nationally, and it's a way to get in front of a national audience.
That's right. I like it. It's a great opportunity for folks. And, you mentioned at the top of our discussion about the officer, that wrote that post. And, I'm really proud to say that during my time there, I had the opportunity to recruit that guy and hire him. And that was a proactive effort to find people that not only mirrored the community but had a heart for the community. And I think I'm very proud when I saw that post of him, and couldn't be happier that he is employed right here in our city.
I'll tell you right now, who Mark's talking about is a story that's running on the front page of lawofficer.com right now. It's a Tulsa police officer, obviously in the news this week, internationally and nationally. And it's an African-American officer. His name is Ambly Floyd. He's right there on the front page. And he basically put a Facebook post out that said, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to serve you. And I'm here to make a difference. If you want to make a difference, we're hiring. And he stood up. He talked about Ambly Floyd played football for the University of Tulsa. He talks about in this story that he grew up being scared of the police because that's what he was taught. And this is a kid, I'll tell you right now, Mark, you're right. This is a kid that is legendary. He is something that everyone should be proud of, not only his family or his community, but the entire city and nation. Here's a guy standing up on 2 feet, making a difference. And if you don't believe one person can't make a difference, you don't know Ambly Floyd.
No, I saw him recently away from the job, and one of the most respectful, kind men that I know. He came up and he was with his family and said he still called me sergeant after all these years, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, no, you don't need to do that. He goes, no sir, and just really polite. And his heart rang through in that post, and I encourage everyone to get on Law Officer right now and just read that, because it's very inspiring, and it might be the inspiration that you or someone else needs to get involved.
Yeah, I know an upper manager, African-American officer, and I quite frankly got him alone this week, and I said, I know for a fact that you have a much harder time with what the community says doing this job than I do, because I know there's a lot of pressures within his family, within the community about him doing his job. And I tell you, I have a lot of respect for. It was easy for me to do this job. My father was in law enforcement. I was pushed. I was encouraged to do this. But a lot of people, it's difficult to do this job for various reasons that we don't have time to go into. But Ambly Floyd is a reason to know that we're going to be okay, and that law enforcement in America is going to be okay. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of Ambly Floyds out there.
There is,
and they're here to serve. And some of them are in elementary school right now. Maybe you run across us and watch us. Let me just address you right now. All races, men and women, we need you.
That's right.
We need good men and women to come to this profession, because all may break loose in this country, but we must stand.
Yeah, and nobody's going to argue that we need a police or a law enforcement presence across this country to eliminate the lines of chaos.
Right.
We all know that. We want the best of all worlds, and sometimes things happen that are not the best, and every organization, whether it be police or anything else, mistakes are made sometimes, let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes perceived mistakes are made, and they're not. But nevertheless, we need to become a part of the solution,
right,
instead of continuing to beat up the problem.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We have a few more minutes. I want you to get any maybe health-related questions in that you have. I know one of the questions, Mark, that we are getting in is about supplementation.
Right.
I know we have alluded to this in the past episodes, and it's really something that's really at the heart of a lot of our police officers. We have a lot of first responders that are taking different supplements. They want to know what's best, and generally they go to the local market or the local nutrition store, and they just grab stuff, or maybe they're searching for the cheapest stuff. And as we've already talked about, it's probably the most corrupt business on the planet is supplements.
It is, and you need to know what you're looking for. And I'm very, very happy for the fact that we've been conducting research for several months now to try to find, first of all, the thing that everybody takes, a multivitamin, multimineral. You need to find quality multivitamins and multiminerals, not because they're multi, but because the multi has some substance to it.
Right.
In other words, it might have multiple B vitamins, but if it's only got 5 milligrams, that is not doing the job.
Right.
But if it's got 50 milligrams, that makes all the difference in the world. And if you're looking for those vitamins and minerals like that, don't go down to the local drugstore and get something off the shelf, because it's going to be made with petroleum products, which is not what you want in your body, of course. You want to find natural substances that are put into a heavily packaged capsule or a caplet, so that you can take a less number of pills and get the substance you need, so you can have the ability to be as active as you want through the course of your time. Because let's face it, multivitamins and multiminerals, one of their main functions is to make the mitochondria, the energy-producing portion of the cell, function and produce energy.
Right.
If those nutrients are missing, we are going to sputter like an 8-cylinder car running on 6.
When I first started talking about this, Mark, because our hearts have been broken about everyone that's basically wasting their money in this industry, sometimes in a very dangerous way. And I told you that if we were to do this, if we were to partner with you and build this supplement line, that it has to be, number one, the best you can get. The best you can get. And, of course, buying and making the best you can get comes with sacrifices. One of those is cost. Yeah. It obviously, there's a way to make lots of money doing supplements, and it's not buying high-quality things and selling them. But I told you, listen, this isn't about the money. We've got to provide this service to our first responders to, A, make them the best at what they do. Yeah. And B, to make them healthy. C, so they quit wasting their money on stuff that doesn't work. Yeah. Right? And to do it as cheaply as we possibly can. And I think we've achieved that. In fact, I think we're going to have several products when we're in, but I told you the very first one we got to come out with is one everybody needs, and that's that multivitamin that we're labeling active. Yep,
multivitamin, multimineral. You need to look for vitamins, and we have this, which is wonderful, and it's through all my connections from the physician area, in the pharmaceutical grade area. You need to look for vitamins that are manufactured in a GMP facility.
Now, let me be very specific about that. GMP facility. And if you're taking supplements now or vitamins now, that will be on the label.
It should be.
Now, let me tell you something. I have looked for supplementation and vitamins with GMP on the label in every store I ever go into. And you know what? I've never found it, Mark.
No, there's only probably a handful of manufacturers across this country that have that label. And what it says that wherever that product is found, one of those capsules can be pulled out of any random bottle, whether it be in manufacturing or on the shelf in retail, anywhere, and that capsule must have exactly what the label says it has in it. You talk about a nearly impossible standard. That takes integrity and character from the very core, getting the best products that are going to be sustainable and be able to withstand the pressures of humidity, heat, transportation, and time. Yeah. All those things matter, and I'm very, very proud of the first product we have. It is the right one. It is the right one. And as far as I'm concerned, the best absolute multivitamin, multimineral
Grab
on
it.
the planet.
I can't wait anymore. Go ahead and grab it. We're going to show it to you right here.
There.
Blue Armor Active just arrived today. In fact, we don't even have them ready for selling the website. We're going to tell you what website to go to and tell you that here in just the next few days. In fact, we're going to launch this Friday.
Friday, okay.
My business guys went, Friday, yeah, we're going to launch this Friday. So go Friday. I don't even know what day that would be, those either watching this after the fact. But on Friday, we're going to launch this, bluearmor.com, B-L-U, armor, A-R-M-O-R.com. And the first supplement, you're going to see all our supplement lines we're working on. This is the first one. Everyone's got to have this one. Maybe some of the others you debate on whether you need it or not. I'm telling you right now, you need this one. You're going to get $5 off when we launch it. If you're looking for a supplement that, if you're spending $10 a month on vitamins now, you're wasting your $10 because I can tell you right now, you cannot buy this grade of supplements for $10. And I'll tell you. I just can't be. I'm telling you, I'm ecstatic, and I'm ecstatic because we've tested this, we've been on this. It's going to change the way you look at everything, and I can guarantee you, with this, you're going to see really the difference in what reality is versus kind of fake. And by the way, we have to go through a doctor's office to get this.
That's right.
You will not be able to find this on the store shelves of your general retail store because the company that we worked with will only sell this to doctors.
That's right, and this particular one is not available for retail anywhere. And as a matter of fact, law officer has the exclusive rights to that one right there. Nobody's going to have it. It's 2-a-day multivitamin, multimineral, and you're done. No matter your size, weight, age, 2 capsules a day. Take them together or spread them out, and you are golden.
It just feels good. Feels right.
It is, and people need that because with food these days, the degradation of our food supply, Travis, vitamins and minerals are needed.
Right.
They're needed to make our cells run efficiently. They're needed to make our mitochondria run to produce energy efficiently. If we don't have that, we're going to suffer with fatigue through the course of the day, and we're not going to be active, as the label says. We're going to have spurts of energy depletion and fatigue, and that's not what we need.
Everyone told us, Mark, you're crazy, you've lost your mind, you're a law enforcement publication. Why are you getting in the supplement business? And plus the investment is pretty extraordinary to do this. Yeah. And the question is simple: are first responders needed?
They need it, and I have a heart, as you know, for first responders from my previous career. When you asked me about this, immediately my heart leapt because I figured that this is a way to give back. Yeah. This is a way to give back into the men and women that are doing their best. And the ones that are serving proud, that have been on for years, or the ones that are just starting, you need to have your health. And this is critical. Every law enforcement officer out there right now, everyone, and I cannot back away from the statement, needs to have a good quality multivitamin, multimineral in their system right now, and not just in their own system, but in their family. This is not just for the law officer person. This is for them and their family.
Right.
You got to treat your kids right. You got to treat your families right. You got to make sure they're fed properly with proper nutrition, and this has everything you need in abundance in the necessary essential vitamins and minerals.
We have our manufacturing standards on the label that you won't see anywhere else. Look for that, GMP.
Right.
You're not going to see that anywhere else. I will challenge you. Now, listen, if you're taking supplement now and it's GMP certified, I'd say you're doing a good job.
Probably okay.
But I'll just tell you from experience, you're probably not, because companies are in it to make lots of money, and they buy cheap stuff. You can literally, when we looked into this, Mark, you can go overseas, and even in some states, Utah is one of the largest states that produces stuff, and for literally a few dollars, sometimes cheaper, get bottles and sell them for $40, $50, and it is insanity. And what they do is they go out and they get a guy all roided up, looking like me, and then they're the spokesman, right? And they say, "Hey, take this, you look like me." And I'm telling you right now, I'm just so proud of it because there's so many people taking advantage of our citizens and our law enforcement officers, first responders, that we're able to do this, do it at a very competitive price. I mean, my business folks say, "Hey, what are you doing to us? We're not making that much money." It's not about that. This is about serving law enforcement because God knows we need it today.
Yeah. This is the interesting thing about this one is is this: a lot of the B vitamins. Let's be specific about those
Yeah.
in it. It's got all your essential B
Got
vitamins.
your B12.
Yep. It's got B1, B2, B3, B5, B7, B9, and B12. It also has biotin. It has magnesium. It has chromium, vanadium, iodine, selenium.
Well, one thing I noticed, my wife takes this stuff for her hair.
Yeah.
And that's in here. So
It is.
she's spending money on all these individual products. And I said, you just need this active. Of course, she says, where is it? I said, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. We're talking about it. Of course, it's taken us a long time because we want it to be right.
Yeah, and you want all your mineral protection because that's antioxidants. And
Right.
you know that when we're out in the weather, exposure to all kinds of things and situations, you're going to have the opportunity to get sick. And this is going to help your immune system be supported to resist those things that are out there. And
Right.
I can't think of a better way to start, your day with good food and with good multivitamins, multiminerals. Set yourself up for success. Everybody needs this. There's no doubt about it. I mean, how many out there right now are currently taking multivitamins and multimineral? I bet you a good number. Look at it. If it's not GMP, just I'm not going to say throw it away. I'm going to say you're probably already threw your money away. But support this cause. This is about a law enforcement cause to help law enforcement people in the community get better and be better.
And a significant portion of the proceeds are going to nonprofits.
Yeah,
we're still working out which ones those are, but you're going to be giving back as well.
Yeah, and I don't know of any, and I've been around this business for a long time, I don't know of any other company like this, like lawofficer.com, that's giving back into the community through charitable donations with a section of the proceeds from this, especially with the price. I mean, seriously, it's not like you're going to be paying, your right arm for this. This is a very competitive price for a superior product.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, we want to give this away. We have just a few bottles in today. We'll have all of our stock in on Friday. We're going to give this away. Here's how you'll win it. Share this video. We can tell who shares it. Share the video of Law Officer Live going on right now. Share it with myself and Dr. Mark Sherwood, and we'll randomly select those that shared it, and we'll send this bottle out to you. We'll contact you.
You're in the giving mood tonight, aren't you?
Man, I'm excited, Mark. And listen, it's really an honor and a privilege that you would work on this with us, because I can tell you one of the reasons we're able to keep this at such a competitive price is because you literally are working for free. I mean, I'm not going to say our relationship together, but what our financial relationship is, but I can tell you, to get a spokesman, to get someone of your level of training and education, working out of a doctor's office, to be able to say, I want to give back, it's amazing to us, and it's just an honor and privilege.
Well, I'm grateful. This is a heart I have to help folks, and I don't even think about it like, man, I'm fine. Life's not about making money; it's about changing lives, and whether we change a person's heart through love, or change their body through good vitamins, good food, and good minerals, and good information, I'm all about it, because that's true influence, and that's what I know we all want to be about.
It's the first of many. This is going to take us to a lot of places. This is a whole nother. We announced a lot tonight. We announced an entire recruiting package we're going to be offering police agencies. We've announced our supplement line that we're coming out with. Literally, we have to go through a doctor's office to get. It's such a high quality. This is big time for us, and we're going to rely on you, our audience, to help us to help this succeed. Without you, it couldn't succeed. And I'll say this. Some of you are out there, maybe you're feeling down. You've watched the news. You've seen sometimes the worst in society, some of the hatred and the anti-cop ideology. Know this, you are thought of, you are prayed for, you have people that care for you, and you can make a difference. One person, one police officer, one first responder, one civilian, because many of you out there are supporting us. Thank you for that. You can make a difference. Find your difference. Maybe it's simple as what I know a friend of mine does. She writes positive letters to law enforcement. Or maybe it's what Mark is doing, is trying to give back to the health and safety of law enforcement. Maybe it's what we here at lawofficer.com is trying to do, and to serve you in various ways. And there's many more announcements to come. But find your place. Maybe that place is just being tuned in with us and sharing our articles and getting involved in any way you can, and trying to talk to folks on your Facebook page and to be a positive light. It's a dark world out there, but there are many lights that are drowning that out, and we need you to do that.
Yeah, be a light. Remember, in a dark cave, all it takes is one little light to brighten the whole place. And well said. Be a light.
Pretty big day. We announced a lot. We talked about a lot. We went through a lot. You're here on Law Officer Live with Dr. Mark Sherwood. My name is Travis Yates, editor-in-chief of lawofficer.com. Please stay tuned with us on lawofficer.com for breaking news. Check out bluearmor.com for all the supplements and the announcements that are coming out. Check us out. We've just launched our first one, Active. It's a multivitamin. Everybody needs it. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us today.